heads due west along the flat valley road to Angles before a gentle climb to the village of Osor. Then it gets steep and a little wild. The turn picks up another river valley before Angles is briefly revisited. Then a gorgeous twisty climb and a downhill return back to town. There are lots of variations on this route. This version is 75 kilometers with 700 meters of climbing. It should take around 3 hours with no stops. Getting out of Girona on a road that hasn't got a set of traffic lights every 5 meters is a challenge on this route. Nobody wants that. My Ways Out of Town series, Find Way Out West 1, solves the problem and puts you on the road to Bescano with minimum stop-start. More likes and more subscribers will help me to make more videos, and that's got to be a good thing, right? It's flat and fast on the busy but safe road all the way to Angles. Running parallel is part of the Vies Verdes network of gravel trails formed from a disused narrow gauge railway. It's a great alternative if your tyres are up to it. The route hits the smaller roads from Angles onwards. The little town looks tropical, so plentiful are the palm trees. The road to Osor follows this avenue of palms out of town. As the trees get more deciduous, the mountains beckon. The next few kilometers are all about the river Osor. The road follows it faithfully, never straying far from its banks. It's a soft gradient, 2 to 3% maximum. The drains run red. The rocks in the volcanic Garrotxa region are rich in iron. It is safe to drink, but maybe pick a font rather than a gutter runoff. Onwards and upwards through the dense forest. Logging is huge in this valley, and Sant Hilari Sacam, right at the top, is Timber Town. The woodland is a coniferous and deciduous mix, the latter making for some splendid autumn colour. A little more parallel road and river action brings up Osor, and it's a treat. A mountain village famous for the 15th century stone bridge that unites its two sides. It's a good place for a cafe stop, and the main street has a couple of options. Osor is the turning point for this route. Riding past the vaulted arches means you're ploughing on towards Sant Hilari at the top, but this route turns right, leaving behind the easy slopes. It gets fairly alpine quite quickly. The rapid elevation gain heralds more colour, more views, and rougher roads. At the only fork, the route heads right, the warning signs presaging both a sharp descent and some pretty rural road surface. It's really wild now, there's evidence of landslips. And if you're riding this in spring or autumn, then carrying some extra clothing would be wise. The locals mostly avoid it in the depths of winter. The descent also brings a dramatic landscape. The way down is steep, tricky, and not without some obstacles. But the views from the bottom are truly sublime. Completed in 1968 at the expense of 2 drowned villagers, the Susqueda Dam and Reservoir is an important hydroelectric power source and vital for the health of the local economy. The road skirts its edge for part of the way, with the striated rock formations of the dormant volcanoes ahead. It's amazing. The dam wall is 130 metres high, holding back many millions of litres, gallons, whatever, of water. Let's just say you could fill a few bidons. Crossing the dammed River Ter, it's now a mostly false flat down the valley. Like the first part of the ride, the road cleaves to the river, and it's not without drama. With cliffs to one side, mountains ahead, and the river to the right. A catastrophic storm in January 2020 caused serious damage to this valley, and the consequences are still being dealt with. But you get the feeling that the Catalan civil engineers seldom relent in their battle against the forces of nature in this part of the world. The rock-strewn river gets a little calmer lower down, and a final smaller dam marks the exit from the valley. A quick spin back to Anglaise, a little flat towards Bonmati, and then the hugely enjoyable climb to Mas Lunes. This is a superb piece of road, amongst my very favourites in the whole Girona area. And if you want full details, I strongly recommend watching my climb guide to Mas Lunes. But here's a quick taste of the twisty, smooth, gentle and spectacularly enjoyable section of road that's rightly immensely popular with both local and visiting cyclists. After the Mas Lunes road, it's a straight, downhill run to town, almost always with tailwind. An excellent way to end a great day in the saddle. If you've enjoyed this video or found it useful, don't be afraid to hit like or subscribe, because both things help the channel. Thank you so much.